silence where we can pray for the late Honorable Dr. Khalifa Kamdi.
Thank you. May I now call upon Honorable Lamin Kababajo to lead us in Muslim prayers. Thank you.
Bismillah, salatu ala nabi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala sayyidina Muhammad salim. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala sayyidina Muhammad salim. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala sayyidina wa nabiyina wa maulana Muhammad wa sallim taslima. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسي السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما هو العلي العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لقد جاءكم رسول من أنفسكم عزيز عليه ما عنتم حريص عليكم بالمؤمنين رؤوف رحيم فإن تولوا فقل حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما خلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر المقدار العظيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين.
Thank you, Honorable Kababajo. At this point, I would like to kindly request Honorable Edward Anthony Gomez to lead us in Christian prayers. Thank you.
We continue in prayer. We have been enjoined by both the Holy Quran and the Holy Bible to pray for our leaders. I shall hence start by praying for our leader and President, the head of state. Lord Almighty Father, most merciful, most benevolent and omnipotent, lay your holy hands on the head of our beloved President. Guide him and protect him. Give him the zeal of Moses in leading his people and the wisdom of Solomon in governing. May his enemies never ever succeed against him. For he is, O Lord, a leader we cherish and a leader we are grateful that you've provided for us. Give him the grace and the blessing of good health. Give him the grace and blessing of continually being of benefit not only to his people but to humanity in general. Bless and protect his family. May they enjoy good health. May they continue to enjoy thy grace now and forever. Lord Almighty Father, we are gathered here to pay homage and to recognize that you are the omnipotent and the creator of all. In our quest to serve thee, we are gathered here as people chosen to help in the governance of this country. Endow us with wisdom. Endow us with the courage to do our job with sincerity and in obedience to thy commandments. Lord Almighty Father, may everything we do here, everything we say here, be in accordance with thy wishes and thy commandments. Lord Almighty Father, bless us all and bless all the families of those who are gathered here. Bless the entire Gambian nation and the Gambian people. May peace and love continue to reign in our hearts now and forever. Amen.
Your Excellency the President, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh, President of the Republic of the Gambia, Your Excellency the Vice President, Ajah Dr. Aissatou Njie Sedi, Honorable Ministers, Secretary General and Head of Civil Service, Chief of Protocol, Director of Press, Permanent Secretaries, and other senior government officials. I would like to welcome you to this, to the 4th Cabinet Retreat here in Kanilai. Your Excellency, time and again, human civilization have been challenged by the phenomenon of planning. Human development is progressive, and there is always room for improvement and betterment. And the issue of planning is critical. The Cabinet Retreat, initiated by Your Excellency, has now become an integral part of our national planning strategy and development process. Your Excellency, please allow me to draw on a divine lesson on the essence of strategic planning. I'll refer to Surah Yusuf, which is a popular surah, a story related to Prophet, may peace be upon him, Yusuf alayhi salam. He had a dream, and he said, "Indeed, I have seen in a dream 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 that were lean, i.e. very thin, and 7 green spikes of grain and others that were dry." The king at the time was looking for interpretation to this dream. His sorcerers were unable to decipher the meaning of this dream. Fortunately for him, a convict who was released gave the information about Prophet Yusuf at the time, who was incarcerated. Prophet Yusuf was called upon to interpret this dream. And he did. He said, "You will plant for 7 years consecutively, and what you harvest, leave in its spikes, except for a little, from which you will eat. Then will come after that 7 difficult years, which you will consume what you saved for them, except a little, from which you will store. Then will come after that a year in which the people will be given grain, and in which they will press olives and grapes." Your Excellency, I have found elements of planning in this story, and I thought it's a story that inspirations can actually be drawn from. This story embodies elements of continuity of planning, measurement, assessment, savings, storage for a rainy day, sustainability for the period of 7 years, comparative advantage, because this nation, they would have been able to get rain for a certain period. So that's what they have. So they've got to actually build upon what they have, the resources what they have, in order to plan for the future. So I was wondering this question: if it were today, what would happen? What would be the approach? In those days, when technology was very crude and knowledge was not as sophisticated as today. So I was pondering on this. But if those nations, in spite of the scarce resources that were available to them at then, they were able to weather the storm, what about us in this age, 21st century, the age of globalization, the age of technology? What could be done? So this is for reflection. So without wasting much time, I would now like to call upon the Honorable Secretary General to come forward and deliver his statement. Thank you.
Permanent secretaries, members of the press, the protocol, and the security, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I would like to first and foremost, on behalf of His Excellency the President of the Republic, the Chief Host, welcome all of you to the 4th Cabinet Retreat here in Kanilai. Before I go any further, please allow me to avail myself of this opportunity on behalf of my colleagues present here and the entire civil service, not only to warmly congratulate His Excellency the President, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya A.J. Jammeh, on his historic landslide victory at the recent polls, but also to pay tribute to him and the entire Gambian populace for the extraordinarily dignified, orderly, free, fair, transparent, and peaceful manner in which the elections were conducted. The prevalence of social tranquility during campaigning, voting, and post-election periods entirely proved our detractors awfully wrong. This shows to the world that democracy in the Gambia has come of age. This retreat is timely and unique, Your Excellency, being organized in the wake of the immediate aftermath of the democratic process in which the Gambian people gave Your Excellency the President a huge mandate, representing a legitimate renewal of faith and confidence in your visionary leadership. Naturally, this comes with high expectations from the citizenry. And clearly, the Gambian people are generally in support of this government's development blueprints. But overwhelming endorsement at the recent polls means that the pace of delivery and quality of social services ought to be accelerated and deepened in accordance with the heightened expectations. This is why, in the next couple of days, as senior government functionaries, we must embrace this opportunity as a moment of soul searching to reflect and interact over cross-cutting development issues, harmonized and build synergies to ensure vertical integration in our wider development endeavors. Mr. Chair, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, as we have launched the Program for Accelerated Growth and Employment page this afternoon, it is important to acknowledge the inadequacies of the preceding development strategic plans consistent with the integrated processes. The analysis of the predecessor plans indicated that they had yielded some remarkable successes, but there still remain huge challenges such as employment creation and income poverty, which remains likely elusive. Also, macroeconomic stability achieved over the years
could not lead to significant increase in private investment, especially in the labor and capital intensive areas, such as agriculture and ecotourism. The page, therefore, has been conceived and designed to address these critical gaps, among others, to bring about socio-economic equilibrium in our development processes. Your Excellency, this forum is intended to provide an interface at policy level for the technicians and the cabinet over key national development issues. Therefore, the communique and the recommendations reached at the last cabinet retreat will, among other things, serve as the basis for deliberations here this week. I believe you have all had time to reflect and act upon the recommendations. This retreat, like others in the past, will take the format of presentations and discussions, focusing on sectoral targets, efforts, achievements, constraints, and the way forward within the framework of the page. Mr. Chairman, a lot of time, resources, and effort were utilized in finalizing the page document. This certainly has not been easy, considering the massive quality inputs in terms of coherent thoughts and ideas, clarity of purpose, setting of targets, deliverables, and timelines. It therefore goes without saying that it will be a great disservice to the nation to allow this important document gather dust. To ensure smooth and measured implementation, it requires patriotism and loyalty, which calls for sacrifices, selflessness, and commitment to the national development agenda. Of even greater significance, Mr. Chairman, is the need for attitudinal change. This is one key issue His Excellency the President has been talking about for the past 17 years. Indeed, attitude constitutes everything in life. All the resources and efforts expended in the page and other reform programs, including Vision 2020, will surely and sadly go in vain unless there is a corresponding attitudinal transformation. It is up to us, public servants and senior government officials, to help His Excellency the President, and by extension ourselves, to realize the noble and lofty development ideals this President has for this great nation. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow delegates, let me ask this question. Has any one of us ever sincerely reflected over why some of the key elements of Vision 2020 are yet to be fully accomplished, even though they are clearly within our grasp to achieve them? Your Excellency and fellow delegates, as this is a family meeting, we can afford to have open and frank conversation over matters that affect us all in our day-to-day work. But how much of our valuable time as paid public officials is spent on bickering and gossiping and hatching plots against each other, rather than exerting our energy and focus on substantive kitchen and table issues for the public good as enshrined in our development blueprints? We all insidiously show concern concern over instability of tenure in the public service, with its negative repercussions on institutional memory and focus, business continuity, networking, and partnership building. But how much of this is attributable over our bad habits and our negative influence peddling, overt and covert? Anyone ever said, step back and ponder how much damage this is doing to the interests of the state? How much resource do we lose to petty personal infighting, internal rivalries, and so-called office politics at the expense of the state? These so-called dark corner operations, or camps, or kabudus, are not only inimical to the state, but in fact run counter to the basic tenets of our religious beliefs, and God will sooner or later judge it all, each and every one of us, according to our deeds. Fellow delegates, let's have faith and clean our hearts and wish everybody well, so that Allah's mercy can come down onto us. We have a captain and we have a coach in the person of His Excellency the President, who has already mapped out a winning strategy. So let's be sincere and follow him to lead us to the promised land. Ladies and gentlemen, on the heels of this strong and colossal mandate given to His Excellency the President and his government, this state of affairs is not an option in the coming years. Let us get real and stop the eye service syndrome. Let us work together sincerely in the best interests of His Excellency and the best interests of the people of the Gambia, and let's support the President to deliver on his mandate. As top civil servants, we have to serve as role models in terms of output and moral uprightness in the execution of our duties. Let's fear Allah in whatever we do. If we think that President Jammeh, His Excellency the President, is not seeing us, Allah is watching us. Allah is seeing our deeds. Remember about the angels. Allah has assigned to us to record our deeds, good or bad. Kiraman katibina, yaktubuna ma taf'alun. They are there writing whatever you do. If we, human beings, can invent a video recorder that records an event and later replay it, much more Allah, the Creator. So let us all know that if we deceive His Excellency the President or ourselves, we can't deceive Allah. Allah is watching us. Let us be sincere. Let us stop creating the clans and the cabals at workplace. His Excellency has mapped out everything for us. Why don't we concentrate on that? If we see our brother or our sister derailing, why can't we pull him or her back and tell him or her, let's do it this way? I think this is the right way to do it. For Gambians, we sit and watch until after the snake has already passed and we start beating on the path. We need to support one another. We need to lift one another up and not to bring people down. On this note, and on behalf of His Excellency the President, I wish to once again welcome all of you to this historic and cultural village of Kanilai. And on your behalf, and on my own behalf, I would like to register my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to His Excellency the President and to the Alkali and people of Kanilai for the warm welcome and hospitality accorded us. Let us remember, it is no longer business as usual. It is going to be business unusual. We have to tighten our belts, and we have to get real, and we have to be real. We have to stop the eye services. We have to stop the lip services. We have to go back and work and help His Excellency deliver on his mandate. May I, in conclusion, with Your Excellency's permission, I wish Your Excellency the President, the entire cabinet, all the public servants, and the entire Gambian population a prosperous and happy New Year. Your Excellency, we are ready to work with you all the way. We thank you, and may Allah continue to protect and guide you. And I thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you, Honorable Secretary General, for that stimulating statement, and also for reminding us about our responsibilities. Thank you so much. At this point, I would like to take this opportunity to call upon Her Excellency the Vice President to come forward and deliver welcoming remarks. Thank you.
Your Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh, our host, once again, for the 4th Kanilai Retreat of Cabinet and senior government officials. I want to recognize Cabinet colleagues, starting with the Secretary General and Head of the Civil Service, colleague ministers here present, once again Secretary to Cabinet, permanent secretaries, and other senior government officials here present, protocol, security, as well as press, and all other protocols duly and respectfully observed. We thank the Almighty Allah for having gone through very peaceful, as the Secretary General has said, transparent elections. Once again, making His Excellency the President victorious and getting another mandate, a 4th mandate from the Gambian people. Like the Secretary General has said, it is because Gambians have a lot of confidence in the leadership, the guidance, and the vision, as well as the development aspirations of His Excellency the President and what he has realized on the ground. That is what brought about the 4th mandate. And indeed, that is why, once again, we have come to a very important landmark period. Why landmark? Because we are just ending a 2nd development blueprint since 1994. Because if all of us remember, we had PRSP 1, which we continued in the 2nd Republic, and started with PRSP 2, which were all related to our Vision 2020. And with PRSP 2, we know that it was MDG based, just like the newly launched Program for Accelerated Growth and Employment, which we are supposed to implement come 2012, by next month to 2015. And I want to set the context within which we are discussing development in this 4th retreat. We all know what is happening globally. We don't have to tell anybody. Those countries that we looked up to for resources may be additional, even though Gambia had less of that. The countries we looked up to for good development models, that is countries of the North, currently are facing problems. We all know. Then something has gone wrong. Maybe is that the way to look? Perhaps we should look that way. It's true, because they are partners in development. But let's also look at other countries who have gone through similar processes as we have, who have similar socio-cultural milieu as we have. And perhaps when we do that, that is countries of the South who've made it, middle-income countries. such as those in Latin America, those in Southeast Asia, and even here in Africa, we have some of them. Then, I think we can learn from their experiences and move ahead. Because we all know the global financial crunch, I don't have to tell you that, crisis that we are going through. We know the limited resources globally for development, and that means unless we excel in what we are doing, unless development partners are convinced to part away with little resources that they have, based on being convinced, of course, that our development is the right thing and that indeed the output will be to the benefit of our nation, then I don't think those resources would be forthcoming. And that is why I said it's a difficult period. A period where GDPs have gone down all over the world. Yes, we are talking about 5%, 4.7% in the Gambia to 5%, and similar percentages in other parts of Africa. But when you look at the northern countries, they are talking about 0 point something percent, hardly 1% in some instances. That's why I said this is a trying time. These are trying times, difficult times, and that means really we have to ensure the judicious use of resources. We also have to prioritize, as the President always says. And once we do that, with the leadership that we have, that is committed leadership, political commitment, and the field marshal we have on the ground, I have no doubt in my mind that we reach our goal with proper planning, as has been said by the Secretary to Cabinet. We've made a lot of gains in the process. The Minister of Finance alluded to some of them today. The Permanent Secretary of Finance did as well during the launching of PAGE. Look at all our areas, all our sectors. There has been some development. There has been some progress. Looking at the social sectors, for example. When we look at education, we've made inroads. Gender parity, and even surpassing what we set for ourselves with regards to our MDGs. When we look at health, the same thing. Yes, maternal mortality is still a challenge. Infant and child mortality are challenges, but they have come down. Although we don't want anybody to die. We still feel that if maternal mortality has gone down from 1,050 per 100,000 to 730, we are not happy. Even with the UNICEF figure of 400 per 100,000, which is an indicative figure. We still need to do something about it. So do we with regards to infant and child. Just to give an example. Look at water. Yes, access to water is very impressive, 85%, we've been told. Access to water and sanitation issues, 76 or 77%. But all the same, we need to reach 100%. That's the goal of His Excellency. He expects nothing less. He always aims high. Yes, it might be a challenge for all of us to keep pace with him, but we have to. Because he wants accelerated development for this country. And that's why we have to tighten our belts. And that's why it requires the participation of everybody. And once we do that, we reach our goals. He has given us the enabling environment. As I said, the policy support is there, the leadership is there, the political support is there. Now, it's for that to resonate to other levels, to the level of cabinet, us the ministers, working closely with our permanent secretaries and senior government officials and parastatals, as well as with the private sector, community-based organizations, civil society in general, individuals, government out there of different social groupings, whether they be in the informal sector or in the agricultural sector. Once all of us see that vision and see our place in that picture, that vision, and what our role should be to achieve the ultimate goal of the vision and its related objectives, I have no doubt that we would be able to achieve it under this leadership, under this enabling environment. So that is what we have to do. As I said, we've made progress. I don't have to belabor the point. We all know the success story of the Gambia that has put the Gambia on the world map today. Today, nobody confuses Gambia with Zambia. You talk about Gambia, the first thing they ask you is President Yahya Jammeh. So he has put us on the map, and we have to continue along those lines. Having said that, Your Excellency the President, I also want to take this opportunity to thank you in particular, and of course the people of Kanilai, under your leadership, but would I say under the leadership of the Alkali, because the Alkali is the head here, as well as, although I know you are a citizen of Kanilai, but under the leadership of the Alkali. You want to thank the people of Kanilai, generally for the hospitality, but most of all, to you for the hospitality provided here in Kanilai since our arrival. But we are not surprised. This is not the first time. Any event we have in Kanilai, we are assured of food. I know the Sereres and the Jolas and the Kabunkas always look forward to that, because they know they'll be well fed. I was just jokingly telling my colleague, the Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, that this morning we have attained part of page, which is human growth. You don't grow without eating. And we achieved that this morning, and we'll continue achieving that. Only that as the Minister responsible for nutrition, I might as well advise, don't overeat and eat the right foods, because that is critical as well. I know it's a very tight program. I don't want to belabor the point. But Your Excellency the President, I want to take this opportunity, as I said, to thank you, and once again, on behalf of my colleagues, to congratulate you for yet another time, and thank the Gambian people for the confidence that they are having you. And inshallah, God willing, if all hands are on deck, I have no doubt in my mind that with the leadership that we have, you being there, I have no doubt in my mind that we'll achieve our goals and objectives as we set for ourselves as a nation. Once again, thank you. May God bless.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for that insightful statement, and also sensitizing us about our responsibilities to take up the challenge for national development. Thank you. Your Excellency, we have now reached the highlight of the fourth cabinet retreat, and that is the keynote address by His Excellency the President, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya A.J.J. Jammeh. May I take this opportunity to welcome you. Thank you.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Your Excellency the Vice President, Honorable Ministers, Secretary General, Honorable Permanent Secretary, Secretary to Cabinet, members of the press, fellow Gambians, all other protocols respectfully observed. First of all, I want to thank the Almighty Allah for this day, and also want to take this opportunity to welcome you all, despite the fact that I'm not the head of the village, to Kanilai. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Gambian people through your support, because what has been achieved, my name is attributed to it, but I couldn't have done it without your support and your hard work, some of you. Each time we meet here, we take stock of what we have done, what we have failed to do, what we need to do. That is the 5 years that have come to an end. In this new 5-year term, there will be no compromise on lackadaisical attitudes, carefree attitudes, and certainly I will not tolerate clubs, clans, or kabudus in my government at any level. It's not only at the level of cabinet, but my government will have zero tolerance for clubs whose only objective is personal aggrandizement. You see, I will not pledge here that I will not dismiss people, because each time I pledge, when we go, I dismiss people. Is it a pleasure for me? No, it is not. But at least you should also help me to make sure that I have no cause to dismiss people. Where I dismiss somebody and realize that I think we could give the person a second chance, I do so. Not because, oh, I dismiss somebody wrongly and I come back to pick the person. No. As a Muslim, I believe in forgiveness. It is not easy to send somebody home, more so to prosecute somebody. But some who go to the extreme, there will be no mercy for them. I don't expect all of us to love each other in government or in cabinet. But each of us has a role to play. Don't bring your personal problems in your official line of duty. If you do that, you are asking for trouble. You cannot use your position to derail government progress and national development. You cannot also use your position for tribalism or regionalism. I'll have zero tolerance for tribalism because I don't believe in tribes. I believe in hard-working Gambian men and women. That is why we are called the Republic of the Gambia. If it was one tribe, it would be called the Republic of that particular tribe. We all have a stake in the socio-economic development of this country. The 5 years that we are entering, by the grace of the Almighty Allah, if we have been moving at 40 miles per hour, we are going to move at 80 miles per hour. Why? Because we will become less dependent on the benevolence of others. We will be dependent on the benevolence of the Almighty Allah. We should thank God. And I think we should also pray and thank the Almighty Allah seriously for what He has endowed to this country. I need not go into details of what we have in this country. But the next 5 years would make this Gambia a household name in the world, just as Dubai is currently. Don't clap. Because as I get older also, I have less patience for people who drag their feet, work what the Secretary General referred to as eye service. I know when I'm in Kanilai, how many offices close at 3 when people come to work at 9:30. The president is not around. God is around. Remember that. And remember that people see you. This is a very small country. One attitude of the Gambians that I don't like is that when somebody is doing something bad, they will not talk about it. Or when the person is kicked out, they say, oh, in fact, he was doing this and that and that. Or Hamon Nanko. We are a family. Irrespective of what tribe you belong to, we are one family. Because we have the same origins, unless if you are a cow. We originate from the same Adama and Hawa. From creation, the Almighty Allah. Allah said it in the Quran, that I have created different colors, be it in human beings, or in fruits or plants. He said it in the Quran. Different tribes. But the most important tribes that Allah is after are 2. the good, those who do good, those who worship Allah, they are honest and sincere, and those who do evil. These are the two tribes that are important, that are mentioned in the Quran. It is very clear, this is not a conscript civil service or government. If you cannot be honest, leave. Though I'm not going to go into details, but somebody almost made us lose $6 million free money. Just because he or she has an agenda against 3 people in the government. Are you doing harm to those people that you are fighting? No, you're doing harm to the country's image and this country's socio-economic development. If you do that, there will be no mercy for you. Don't say, oh, now I am here, I will teach this man a lesson. And what is unacceptable is the fact that you label them, oh, these are the people closest to the president. If you want to be close, work hard and be honest. Some of us, if you cannot make money out of anything, you are not interested. It is unacceptable. After all, we are all paid. We are all paid salaries. If you look at in Africa, I have the lowest salary as a president. The vice president has the lowest salary. But I'm satisfied with that. Because what is important to me is to see the people develop, lift the Gambia out of poverty. Can't we do it? Yes, we can. If big countries, with almost $1 billion plus, from donor recipient to major donors, if they can achieve that, why not we, the little Gambia, with all the resources we have? I will not continue to sing about attitudinal change. I think a word to the wise is enough. Do I have to continue talking about attitudinal change? No. Because I think Gambians have had enough of attitudinal change. But let me make it very clear. For us to achieve what we want, to turn this country into an economic superpower, it will be practically impossible without discipline, patriotism, and honesty. You're not doing it for me, you're doing it for your country. You're doing it for yourself and your children and grandchildren tomorrow. And in your old age. For God's sake, fear Allah. I don't want anybody to be afraid of me because I'm not a monster. But remember that whatever you do, Allah is seeing you. I hope this next 5 years, I will not have cause to dismiss anybody. That's my wish. We want continuity. But your job is as stable as you are honest. Get into malpractices, your job is at stake. There will be no compromise. This is the highest echelon of the government. Do I have to do spot checks for your genius to come to work on time and be serious with their work? Is that fair? Do you want me to do your job? If I do your job twice, the third time I take it and give it to somebody who wants to work. Discipline. We all know that only God knows when this financial crisis is going to end. Therefore, we should be judicious in the way we spend the little resources we have. I'll talk about it again. I see no reason why you should give a vendor $100 to go and buy Kleenex for you when it is being sold at the supermarket where you can walk across the street and buy it. Why are we doing? Because that's a way of making money that will be very difficult to detect. This is unacceptable. I'm not saying we shouldn't have vendors, but if a vendor is selling to you something 3 times the amount and it's not even an importer, we're wasting funds. Why do we think that government money is government money? Who is government? Are you not government? Every Gambian is a part of the government. So if you take it and think, this is government, you're cheating the Gambian people. Allah would deal with you. Each of you, most of you, I've never known you before. You are where you are because of God, not me. Don't fear me. Fear the Almighty Allah, who is seeing you day and night, and who sees what is in your heart. He can hear what you think nobody can hear. Fear God. When you cheat the people you're cheating God, God will deal with you. Some of us, when we go out of the country, you stop the government at the back. Say outrageous things about the government. It comes back to the Gambia even before you reach here. Some of us Gambians, when you are appointed to international organizations, instead of working for the Gambia's interests, you work against Gambia's interests. Sometimes people ask me, why do you appoint your enemies to be ambassadors? My answer is, to show you people that I give everybody a chance. And when you betray me, I will know. So, I think we should also not start keeping records when we know that retreat is around the corner. Record keeping is important, but what is more important is accurate record keeping. Only we, the Gambian people, can take this country to the level we want it. Nobody is going to do it for us. Our efforts cannot be complementary to the goodwill of international community. It should be the other way around. Their efforts at helping us develop should be complementary to our own efforts. To be quite honest, we are also very wasteful as a government. I talked about fuel, about vehicles. Let me make it very clear in the 5 years that are coming. If you have a new vehicle, you better keep it as you keep your life, because if it is derelict, before 5 years we are not going to replace it. Because the average lifespan of even the worst vehicle should be 5 years. The vehicle is as good as you maintain it, and it is as bad as you mishandle it. That's the reality. So some of you, when you see me presenting and then start writing to the SG, I have no vehicle. My vehicle is very old. How many years? 3 years now. 3 years, a vehicle is very old. It is unacceptable. We also talked about making sure that government vehicles are not stolen. And the only way we can do that is to print your logo on the sides of the vehicle. Now, by 1st of January 2012, we will send the inspector of government vehicles to go around all the ministries and to collect all vehicles that have no labels, and we will not replace them. So you have up to the 1st of January 2012 to do so, or lose vehicles, and don't come to us and say, oh, I don't know why my vehicle has been seized. This is how we lose government vehicles. They steal them, take them across the border, and sell them in neighboring countries. Still is going on. What is more important is for us to understand that if we are fighting each other, we are not moving an inch in development. I don't expect all of you to like me. You also don't expect me to like all of you. That's a reality. It's human nature. If you are not working hard, you expect me to like you? No. I only dislike you when I know you are dishonest and not working hard. And I only keep you at arm's length when I know that you are not serving national interest but a foreign interest. So if you want to be close to me, work hard, be honest, and serve national interests. Oh, these are his boys. I don't think there's a boy here or a girl here. Oh, these are his favorites. Even God, there are other people that are closer to God than the rest. Why? Because they do good. They please God. Who am I not to follow the suit? After all, I want development. I want hard work. Anybody who works hard is my friend. Let us know as Africans. I think, do we really need, what do we need? Allah to send us a notice saying that don't count on some certain parts of the world, they don't care about your development. We have seen countries whose entire debt has been wiped out, free of charge, and being given billions of dollars to develop their countries. By the same people that we look up to. Up to today, nobody is out there to say, let us wipe out Africa's debt burden. Each and every one of you should be a leader in your department, in your ministry. If you are not a leader, you will be a follower. And if you are a follower, you will always be behind. Let us put our ideas together. Sometimes I feel I'm shocked when people are told that, and then they come back and tell me that, oh, we wanted to do this. This thing is pending. They say they didn't hear from the office of the president. When you are confronted, say, ah, yes, we are going to write. So how do you expect the president's office to know what you have not communicated to us? And at the same time, give the people that are interested the impression that the delay is not from us, but from the president's office. Yes, there are also instances where some people in the president's office sit on the communication. In the administration of this country and for the socio-economic development of this country. Billahi wallahi ta'ala, I don't know a tribe, I don't know a question, all I know is Gambians that are ready to work. So, there will be no compromise for the type of attitudes that impact negatively on the socio-economic development of this country. Remember that nobody is going to come and develop your country for you. Operation Clean the Nation, how many of us participate? It's Clean the Nation, it's a government program. Now, if we, cabinet ministers and the president sit down, the permanent secretary sits down, rightly so. The GPS sits down, the permanent secretary is not out. The principal assistant secretary sits down. The SS says, oh, DPS are not going, I also better go and do something. So at the end of the day, when the people realize that it's only the ordinary people, they say, oh, very few will come out to work. Leadership that is inspiring is what I want. Whether the president is out or not, you live in an area that you need to clean. I may not go out in the street to clean, but I clean the State House. That's where I live. So if we all do it, you will see a marked change of attitude. But where we stand and then praise, oh yes, the president's operation Clean the Nation. Oh, it's doing well, that's why we have lower rate in malaria and whatever. And they are not participating. Don't you feel guilty? Oh, so and so, this Saturday we have a get-together. You say, ah, and then you have to go after 2 o'clock. Settle more. And you not even go to settle. You might as well go and attend the, you can work on foot and go and attend the get-together. But all of us have to lead by example. All of us have to inspire the people. These people we live with. Our neighborhood. If they say that, ah, this man is a permanent secretary and every secretary is the first to come out, everybody will come out and clean the country. The infant mortality rate and maternal mortality, can we eradicate it? No, but we can minimize it. Why? Because Even developed countries, there's mortality rate, despite the fact that they don't announce it. In fact, it is higher in developed countries than in the third world countries. Why? Where minorities are, especially when they are black, the infant mortality rate is very high. It's higher than that of Africa, even though they don't announce it. That's the reality. Yes, we are poor in the Gambia, but we are better than certain citizens in well-developed countries. At least I've never seen a Gambian starve to death or eat, scavenge from the dustbin to have a meal. But we are always classified, least developed. Yes, good. If we want to get out of that level, we have to respect ourselves. How do we respect ourselves? Eat what we grow, grow what we eat, develop where we live. Then we will be respected. That's how the Asian tigers were respected. Well, they call them Asian tigers. Why can't we become African lions? Why not? Don't laugh. We should also be lions. They call them Asian tigers because you have more tigers in Asia than lions. You have more lions in Africa than tigers. So why can't we be called African lions coming? Anyway, the Gambia would be, by the grace of the Almighty Allah, the Gambia would be the first African lion to stand up. But we have to work together as a nation. We have to pray for this country. We have to wish each other well. We should love this country and fear Allah. I wish you all the best. On this note, I declare the retreat open.